So as we come out here, this is what the audience sees. This is where Ellen comes out every day. Those doors open. They're fully automated. We had an issue in our old studio where sometimes Ed would scream from the control room for the doors to open, and we would manually open them back at NBC, and the time it took was, was way too long. So now we have fully automated. We spent a lot of money to put these on automated tracks for so we can, because these doors fly open and close throughout the show. That's a DJ booth where DJ Tony plays, and his stuff is also fully automated and digital. All his music is digitally fed. And then here's the studio.
Basically, what's interesting about our set, it was designed to be flexible so that we can shoot in multiple areas here. We call this the performance. I mean, this is the performance area basically back here where we do bands. We can also set games in front here. We built that deck there so we could also use that as another place to set a game. We do our music throws there. When we have a music act, Ellen will stand in front of the two RPs there. We'll have the image of the CD cover on there so she can say, coming up next, as Andy said, Maroon 5, we'll have their CD there. She'll be able to hold it up. And so visually it's very pretty to have all this, information behind her. And it's flexible. This pod right here that she sits on actually breaks away. So if we want to put her on the floor, a couple of years ago she hurt her back. She fell and hurt her back, and she actually did a couple of shows from a hospital bed. So we pulled that plug out, put the hospital beds on the floor, and she actually interviewed her guests who also sat in a hospital bed, right there. So it's, in that regard, it's very flexible. Same with the monitors. These columns of monitors and the floor monitors there, that one's actually fixed, but this one rolls around, so we have the ability to move it any way we want, depending on what the day's demands are.
Executive producer position where we stand during the show. Once the guests come on, one of us, usually me, breaks off over here, so I am always in Ellen's eye line. So if the guest is sitting there and Ellen is there, I'm always in her eye line. So if Ellen's looking for another area to go to, I can sort of signal her, let her know, with the stage manager, it's time to go to commercial break. Because we talk about all this editing that we put into the show, but we don't like to edit the show. We like to shoot this show live to tape. So sometimes we'll go a minute or 2 minutes heavy, but for the most part, Ellen wants to stay on time, so she's constantly sort of looking over to the side to keep the interview going, and she's sort of editing herself as she goes. The audience is 300 people. Last year I think we were at 260, and one of the important things... Oh, we were at 200, sorry. And Ellen's whole idea in moving was she wanted to play to a bigger house. She also wanted much more comfortable seats. We used to have these folding chairs. We got these from, I believe, a Broadway theater. And she wanted that kind of experience for the audience. And then in the back, on the other side of that, is what's called the riffraff room.
This is what we call the riffraff room. It's actually an overflow audience holding area that we had. It was named the riffraff room because Tom Hanks was on the show several years ago and saw the pictures of the people that didn't make it into the big room, so he called them riffraff, and so after that it was dubbed the riffraff room. We actually had a ceremony over there where he put his hands in concrete and signed it, and so this became the riffraff room. It's been that way from that time forward. We use it for a variety of things, in addition to holding the audience. Through the course of the year, we might do, put a tennis court in here. One time we had an ice skating rink. We built snowmen. It's an all-purpose space, but primarily it's used every day for holding the audience. As you can see, also it has our store in here. Ellen, when we first started the show, she was very interested in offering people fun things that they could take away when they leave, if they wanted to buy a souvenir or something like that. And one of the things that we have is her patented water, which is Ellen water, and as you can see, it tastes funny. So we sell that often, and that's what goes in the cup holders in the audience when they buy it. And so that's a lot of fun. We change the products often, and try and keep it all new for people. We'll also offer them on our website, so if anybody wants to go on there, they can buy them too. In addition to the various events and things like that, the show things that we do, one of the key things about the Riff Raff Room is that people that want to come see the show, and we have people that book every day, and there's also standbys that come and wait, that they have the ability to get in. They can see the show on the monitors. Oftentimes, if there's prizes or giveaways during the show, they'll get them as well. So it's a way for them to not to miss out, even if they've taken the time to come even if our room is booked, which it always is, there's a way for them to still come and be in the environment and have some fun with it too. So that's the spirit of the Riff Raff Room, and like I said, we use it for a lot of other things for production stuff that comes up. So this is our lighting control room. About, what we said, around 600 or 700 conventional lights.
It's about 600 conventional lights and then another 100 moving lights.
And the moving lights can, range from colorless lights to other lights that actually have color, scrolls in them, so we can actually change color cues on them as well. It's all controlled from these various boards. These are all your basic light positions, right? Those are all lights, and you can tell whether they're active.
Each one of those is an individual light.
And so you can tell if it's active or not, and what the status of the cue is, and then you control those cues from this board, which has pre-built cues as well as other ones that you can do on the fly. Is that how it works?
Well, we've built a whole series of cues that are for different areas of the stage, and we can bring many of those up at the same time for them to be able to have something on home base and in the demo area in front of the LED wall, something else going on in the LED wall, and then they can open the doors and have something else behind the LED wall. All of those we keep in separate cue stacks into separate looks.
The other thing that Andrew has, which is very unique, he has the ability to walk around the set with his handheld, his palm handheld, and control any of the lights cues as he's walking around. That's a very unique thing. It's a system that he designed, which is really cool. So he can stand down there, in one of those seats, and from his handheld, adjust one of the moving lights up above him and focus it from a handheld position. It's really cool. The PA mixer up there on the other side, he very actively works during the course of the show and to make sure that the audience hears it and it's also acceptable for broadcast, and that gets complicated because we have a lot of music in the show. We'll do a lot of bands which have their own set of mixing, and so it's a really it's a busy, full-bodied position. He's always working that audio experience to make sure that it's as good as possible. Also, Ellen and our executive producers, Mary in particular, the one executive producer, Mary Connolly, you didn't meet, very active in terms of the room's audio. They can hear it and they'll say, it doesn't sound right, there's too much bass or something, and then Terry from his room in there and Neil, our PA mixer there, will make that correction. So there's a lot of headset chatter between the floor where Mary and Andy are and Ed in the booth is during the course of a show about everything, creative notes, production notes like that. They're always talking, and our audio department is very involved in it. So this is our dressing room hallway. One of the things that, as we talked about, the experience for the guests as well as the audience is really important to Ellen. So she, when we first started the show 6 years ago, made a very concerted effort to make sure that all the rooms were, properly decorated, had a nice, sort of vibe to them. The artwork was pretty and things that she liked. And so each dressing room is different. They all have lots of art that's been chosen by her. When the guests get here, they get gifts from us, a little gift package that we give them, which is unique and fun, and it's all part of making their experience, a fun one, so they want to come back and do the show again. What's great about the show is we are incredibly agile now where we never used to be. We have the ability to cut things, drop them in live. That room can be put in any configuration we want. Any of those screens can be, dynamically changed during the course of a taping. I mean, it's really in that regard very fast, way more nimble than we ever were. And so we have the ability, like he says, we shoot audience dancing while we're shooting it. 15 minutes before we go to air, we send it upstairs to an edit bay, and literally 5 minutes into the show, we'll roll it in when she's sitting at home base and goes, "Hey, we've got some fun dancers today. Here they are," and 8 or 10 people in that audience can see what they were dancing, 15 minutes ago. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure.